Encore deux questions de la salle, rapides, s'il vous plaît, rapides.
Merci beaucoup. Je pose une question
du point de vue d'un pays
comme G20, notamment en Autriche.
Smaller country, Austria. When you look at the history of Chile, the question is whether G20 is going to follow the same evolutionary path as G8, meaning is it globally going to be to deal with all the issues and not simply economic issues, but also security issues, non-proliferation issues, and the question is very important to smaller countries because in that type of scenario, G8 could perhaps be replaced by the Security Council at the United Nations, where you can be elected. But to G20, you cannot be elected. So the question is very important for a number of countries, and that has been raised by Morocco as well. The second question is, what is the transmission mechanism put into place by G20, or which will be put into place by the G20, in order to make these decisions operational? At one point in time, G8 used OECD as a forum to implement its decisions. Now, what is the existing mechanism for G20?
Dans cette affaire.
Merci. Jean-David, en fait, vous représentez les deux présidences de G8 et les G20. First of all, I didn't mention G8. Well, France also happens to preside the G8 summit in 2011. But the question was to decide whether G20 still was to last or not. And we decided that the summit was going to take place, and then we would see. And what I was struck by at the last G8 meeting in Moscow is that at this summit, and in France we have major political discussions right now. The retirement age, as you know, is being discussed. And this is really a topic which ought to be discussed both at G8 and G20 summit. But sometimes it is a very clear distinction of roles, and G8 is looking more into common interest issues, but also political issues such as Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, etc., simply because its makeup is conducive to that sort of discussion. And secondly, regarding the G20 summit, and I turn to we don't believe that it should be extended. In fact, in Pittsburgh, we decided that the G20 summit was the first forum for economic and financial issues. Now, of course, it all depends on the definition of these terms, economic and financial. But together with Korea, we believe that developmental issues are linked to economics. But then there's another issue, because G80 deploys some 80% of assistance to the developing countries, and many African countries who partner with the G8 summit wish to maintain that link. But G20 also deals with these development issues and sets up frameworks, codes of behavior, etc. I believe, therefore, that the task can be distributed between the two. Now, you also mentioned the transmission mechanism. Obviously, we are going to use a number of institutions and organizations, such as the Monetary Fund, the World Bank, DC is also helping, but there are a number of other organizations. And we are going, in due time, we're going to suggest to our partners the setting up of a secretariat of some 20 members, perhaps, because there's a lot of work to be carried out, and it would be very helpful to have some 20 specialists who can then follow up discussions with the organizations that are directly concerned. And I also believe that it is vital to discuss with the United Nations. And on November 16th, so 4 days after the Seoul Summit, we are going to meet, and I don't know who's going to represent Korea, but I'm going to represent France. We are going to reply to the United Nations Assembly, reply to any questions which might be put by 172 countries which are not participating in Seoul, but who do wish to participate in G20's discussions.